Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be the first of hopefully many remote duel commentaries to come on the channel, and this match was up against a viewer on my Discord server, and I actually had a ton of fun doing this. So if you guys do want to partake in potentially this video series, in the future, or just want to play against me in general, definitely check out my Discord server, which you can find the link to in the description box below, because I plan on just periodically popping in and asking you guys for some games whenever I get bored, because unfortunately right now it's not super safe for me to go to physical locals, and obviously with like Pasadena getting canceled and everything, I know real life events are as sparse as they have been these past 2 years. So yeah, I also hopefully am going to plan on streaming some remote duels over on my Twitch, which you can also find too in the description below if you want to follow me there. But yeah, maybe I can do like remote duel locals or just like games against you guys. So yeah, should be pretty exciting. I have also been streaming a bit more recently, and that is pretty great. So let's go ahead and just get started with this commentary because we're already a little bit into the game here. So you can see we're playing ABC, which is for me a bit more of a fun deck. I want to play something that could incorporate DPE, which is in my build, while also not being like super top tier, just because I want to kick back and relax a little bit. But yeah, our opponent here is on Tri-Brigade with the DPE package as well, like with rescue cats and stuff like that. So yeah, he actually won the die roll, by the way, but opted to, or not opted to, but had to pass because his hand was, I believe, double Gamma, Driver, Call by the Grave, and Karis. So really not any options for him turn one, unfortunately. And so I am fully expecting to get hand trapped here. I do activate Union Hanger, which is fortunate to open because I don't have a Pot of Prosperity, and so that makes this build significantly worse than it could be because that card's really good to like dig for Hanger or Fusion Destiny. But we do open it, so we grab B, and then we normal B, equip the Union Driver via the Hanger, grab a C off of the Driver, and then we summon the C, and then we linked off into Platinum Gadget. And then here I trigger C, Chainlink 1, B, Chainlink 2, because I do have a target for C. I probably should have done it the other way just to dodge Ash, but right here I'm just trying to like check for hand traps. Because like I'm convinced that if he bricked, he probably just has hand traps in his hand, which he does, but none of them are like super, like he could interact with some of my plays here with his Gamma, but he likes not to. So yeah, right here I'm expecting a Nibiru because all these plays went through, so I just go for like some damage in the battle phase because I could potentially go for game if I like commit harder, but I didn't really want to risk that. So I just liked to chill here and wait a little bit. So we get a fair amount of damage in, and you can also tell that the light points are not edited in post. I actually was changing that on my recording software just as we were playing. So again, I'm like still kind of new to just like remote or dueling, like in terms of recording it and like streaming it and stuff. So yeah, things might. I'm still getting used to all of the setup, but hopefully this is a good enough viewing experience for you guys. But carrying on here, I go into Masquerena, and then I add back a C off the A, and then I go into Buster. So I don't go into Verite Anaconda, even though I have the option to go DPE, just because, again, I'm expecting to get Nibiru'd, so I want to have a backup plan just in case. Like Verite as just like a plan B. But he ends up not having it. So that's fine because Masquerena is classically actually very good with Buster, obviously because of the tag out. It just gives you free materials to go into like a big Appaloosa. And another card I don't own that is pretty common in this deck is the Underworld Goddess. That card's really good. But yeah, I just don't have that card. Yeah, it's not like I really went out of my way to like max out on like the ABC deck. I just had this core lying around. Like I've had this core for pretty much, I want to say 4 years now. Actually longer than that, I think. Like 4.5 years. Almost, it was one of the first cores I actually picked up when I got back into the game, which was around like spring, summer of 2017. But yeah, anyways, he top decks a Fractal, and then he sends Kit and then Nerval. I Ash the Nerval, but he has Gamma, which I walk right into. And Gamma was not a card I was reading because, I just didn't really expect it. Not a lot of people are main decking it, although it's not unheard of. And in this deck, it makes sense when you have like Rescue Cat and stuff like that. A lot of things to just bait Ash on an empty board just like this. So yeah, he gets to search Kit, he summons his Psyframes, and he actually is playing Omega. That's what that card is, even though there is quite a bit of glare on the screen. But yeah, Omega comes down, and thankfully, it's actually not enough to force my Buster directly because Buster is 2800 defense. So yeah, what he could do is like maybe just force my Masquerena, in which case, I wouldn't be too upset about that. So yeah, like really the main priority is just to keep the Buster online because that card, yeah, if it gets the tag out, especially with Hanger on board, it's like super hard to stop the snowball next turn because there's just so many link materials. So yeah, super solid, and also trades pretty well into the Tri-Brigade engine. So here he activates Omega, and he hits one of the cards in my hand, which I believe actually is the Celestial. Yeah, there it is. So that's pretty unfortunate. Now he knows that I'm on the DPE package, which I mean, I don't think anyone's like super surprised that DPE is in this deck, but yeah. And again, I didn't summon it or summon Verte last turn because like I was just fully expecting Nibiru, but here we are. So here he actually special summons Karis by pitching Kip, and then I make a big misplay here. So I go Buster on summon to target Karis, and then I go Masquerena channeling 2, and then I go Buster channeling 3 to tag out. Because what my thought process here is I want to play around the second Gamma because he used Omega to tag out. So I thought I wanted to like vacate his board. So like I wanted to get value off the Buster tag out while his monster zone was still occupied, so I didn't play into the second Gamma. But I walked right into this Call by the Grave, and actually you saw that he flashed a Gamma right there as well, because like I was talking about, I was like, man, I really was thinking that he had a second Gamma because like, it would make sense, right? Because he cleared his board and he like bricked turn 1, and now that I saw Gamma, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Maybe he just had a lot of Gammas in his hand. So my read was right, but I didn't play around it correctly. So my Masquerena still does resolve. I do go into Appaloosa, but his Karis gets to stay on board now that my Buster was called by the Graves, which, you know, it was a huge misplay because I lost a ton of resources. But what I should have just done was like, I should have just, you know, banished the Karis, and then, like, because obviously that's his only play because he passed last turn, right? So I should just like, you know, let the Karis get banished, and then he had to pass, and then just don't tag out, and then we're fine. So yeah, definitely, because he was only at 3,300 life points, so that would have been enough to make a game right there. But now we have to kind of play a little bit. So I normal summon the C as play passes back to us. He did banish 2 off Karis, which obviously is going to get negated by Appaloosa. So I normal summon the C, which was added back off of A last turn, and I get to trigger the Hanger again for a B. Now I don't play 2 copies of Union Driver just because that card's not really that great to draw, and I'm not playing Desires, so I don't feel pressured to play multiple copies. But you know, here's a situation where it would have been a lot more convenient had I played the second copy of Driver. Oh yeah, there we're just confirming when Omega does return, and it is during his standby. He thought it was during my standby, I think. But yeah, we go ahead and equip a B. And now what I'm trying to do is figure out how I can like stop him from actually like mounting a push, because he still has a couple of Tri-Brigade names in his graveyard here. So I don't want him to just like switch Karis to attack position, attack over my Appaloosa, which is 800 attack points now, and then he just plays a main phase 2. And I don't have the option to go into Verte because my Celestial is still banished off the Omega. So basically what I do is I go into battle phase, I don't do anything, and I go into main phase 2, and then I make Clara and Rushka, which this card's pretty standard in ABC. So it's kind of like for this purpose, because I want to search a copy of A off of the B, and then I'm going to link these 2 away into a copy of Nightmare Cerberus, which I have space for, just because the extra deck is not super tight. It's a lot of just utility cards. So it gets the A in the grave after pitching it, clears his Karis, and then I get to go for Buster. So despite that big mishap last turn, we got to establish another Buster, which was pretty important. And now we are pretty good to go right here. And I think I'd have another copy of Ash in my hand. So yeah, play passes back to him. He draws return. He goes ahead and does the Omega return, stuff like that. And yeah, basically right now I know that he is effectively on top deck mode because like he needs just a Tri-Brigade to be able to play, but it's gonna be hard for him to play past my Buster. And again, his Omega can't really threaten it right now. And so I'm feeling pretty comfortable about this. So yeah, we go ahead and he's thinking for a little bit on how he wants to play this. Because I think he did draw another play, but he's just trying to force my hand a little bit before he actually commits to his engine. So he's going to activate Omega's effect here, I'm pretty sure. And I don't have a response to this. So he's going to hit the Celestial out of hand again. So a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world because we still have Buster. And, following the logic of me trying to play around like the second Gamma last turn, I'm not going to Ash this Fractal or anything because that would just be dumb. So yeah, like even though I made like the misplay last turn, at least like I still like I'm operating on like the same knowledge base or like the same assumptions. So I just wait for him to summon the kit, and then I go ahead and buster it, and that is going to be the end of game 1. So game number 2 here, and here I forgot to actually switch back the life points in the in OBS when I was recording this. So yeah, those life points are still from last game, but I eventually realized this obviously. But he's gonna go first again. We don't open any hand traps or any disruptions this time, and so he gets to open up Karis, or sorry, Fractal to send Kit and then Nerval. I don't know why I said Karis there, but he gets a search, and then he goes for a normal summon of Tri-Brigade Kit. And then here he gets to kind of combo off for a little bit. So he's going to banish 2 and then summon out, I believe, a copy of Farid, which shout out to the Starlight Farid, by the way. That effect is going to go and summon out the Fractal. And then those two are going to be linked off into a copy of Bear Broom, which I still, as a force of habit, call it Bear Bloom. But yeah, he gets to, yeah, there's a lot of glare on that side. But he has to trigger the Farid here. And then he gets to use Fractal, banishing 2. And that's going to summon out the DDL. And then he's going to link off the Bear Broom and the Fractal into a Rugal. And then he will obviously get access to his Revolt here. So yeah, I didn't draw any of my side cards, or I didn't draw like any of my hand traps. So yeah, basically I drew a lot of engine, and we're just gonna try and fight through his board with engine cards only. Thankfully, one of those engine cards was a Union Hanger, which you'll see, but he has 2 back row, which is pretty scary. So yeah, we go ahead and draw for a turn right here, and then we're gonna activate Hanger and see if that forces a response. I was actually expecting him to DDL this, but thankfully he actually uses Revolt instead, which is good for me. I mean, I understand like trying to get value right here, because like Ashing Hanger, like bouncing the Hanger, I guess usually like is not the greatest. Well, Ashing Hanger is different because like it leaves a Hanger on the board, whereas like they could just have a piece hard drawn in their opening hand. But if he bounced with the DDL, then I don't get the add, and I also don't get the equip, which is pretty important. Because yeah, right here I'm going to search for a copy of A from this Union Hanger, and then he's going to trigger all of his effects. So he gets Bear Broom plus Nerval plus his Omen to banish. So yeah, right here I have like a ton of just pieces in my hand, which is not the greatest because they're just all normal summons functionally. And I do believe, however, I drew a copy of a Triple Tactics talent, and that is going to be good, especially because he didn't use his DDL, because now I can just go ahead and just take it, or take the DDL, which is good because like otherwise I just get stopped in my normal summon and I can't really do anything. But this way I can actually play a little bit. So yeah, we go ahead and tactics to take, and he does not have a response to this. So we go ahead and take his DDL. And I think actually I go ahead and I move over and I grab my bird up deck and I take my own DDL and I just put it on my board just to make things easier visually. So yeah, there is the DDL right here. And also, I actually did play a match after this with Bird Up, but the file got corrupted, which I'm very sad about, because that was it was up against the same person, and he was on Invoked Dogmatica for that match. It was a very good match too. We ended up losing that one, but like game 2 was pretty sick. There's a lot of cool interactions, but yeah, I'm upset that that one got corrupted because I wanted to upload that because it was a pretty good showcase. But here we go. We normal summon the Silver Gadget. And he goes and he chains Rugal and then chains Droplet to negate the Silver Gadget, which was pretty good because I was gonna go places with that Silver Gadget for sure, because I had a lot of like link climbing capacities, and so now we're thinking for quite a bit here, and I have to decide on how I want to approach this. So like priority number 1 is outing the Omen. I know he got a search off of the Nerval just now, but I don't want him to like search more resources. So yeah, we're gonna actually DDL to get rid of the A in my hand to bounce his Omen, and then I'm gonna link away with the the Silver Gadget just to make Verte. Because I could have I can't remember if I had oh wait, no, I was gonna summon I think a C off the Silver Gadget, but I only had one piece engraved, so even if I went for like a Nightmare Cerberus play, I wouldn't have enough to make Buster. So yeah, I just do the boring play, which is summon DPE. And I go ahead and I pop the Nerval. And I already went into no, I don't think I even went to battle phase, so yeah, I should probably just put this DPE in attack position. Yeah, I'm not sure why I did that. Looking back, I don't have an explanation for that. Yeah, I probably should just put it in attack position so I could get some damage in. But yeah, I'm pretty sure just pass on this because we don't really have any other interruptions or like any other plays to do. So yeah, I'm not playing really any back row on my list. It's just quite a lot of hand traps and just hand traps, engine cards, DPE package, pretty like standard stuff. So yeah, play passes back to him, and he is thinking on what he wants to do. So he's going to go ahead and summon out Fractal, and I'm just going to pop this with the DPE, and he's going to set and pass. Obviously, I declare DPE engrave. So yeah, we can assume that that's Revolt. Like he searched it, he could have technically put it back off of the Bear Bloom, but not really any reason to do that. So yeah, he is, I think, thinking, I believe he thinks in the standby phase right here, because I'm pretty sure he was considering playing around tactics because he saw it just now last turn. So like he could try and just like force my my DPE early. He does this, I believe, right here in standby. So he is going to summon out all of his Tri-Brigade names and go for a Shurag Banish. And then, yeah, I chained the DPE to the Revolt. Wait, no, that's not what happened at all. I'm sorry. What happened was he chose to let me go to main phase, and then I activated the DPE, and then he chained the Revolt to the DPE, and then, yeah, summoned out Omen, and then, yeah, when the chain resolved, I just popped the Omen so it can like activate the effect on field. So right here, he searches for Crow off the Omen, and then he searches for Kit, and then he's gonna Lancea me. So that definitely is unfortunate because it cuts off Celestial, and it cuts off obviously ABC access. So yeah, right here, I think what he could have done was he could have like DD Crowed in response to his own Lancea, just so he can like get the DP out of my graveyard. Because right here, I make a play. I actually misplay again because I'm not super familiar with this deck. But I play in such a way where I can actually keep the DPE around, like even if he were to try and crow it in his next draw phase, which I think was his intention. But yeah, we have another copy of Hanger. I think we opened 2 of it. So again, like it's pretty lucky to even like see 1 Hanger, let alone 2 in this instance, where that would have been pretty helpful. So yeah, I spend a bit of time thinking about what my play is going to be, because I can't make Buster this turn, obviously, and I'm like worried about the DD Crow, right? Because if he just DD Crows during the draw phase, my DPE, then I don't have any interruptions for his next play. And I know he searched a Kit, like his hand is known. So we are just trying to set up the best board that we can. I think quite heavily on what I want to do right here. And they ultimately end up misplaying anyways, as you'll see. So yeah, we search a copy of C off of this Hanger. And then right here, I normal the C. And then I activate the Hanger effect. And then I totally forget that I'm under Lancea. Well, no, I don't forget that I'm under Lancea, but I forget that Union Driver has to banish itself to equip. So I equip Union Driver, and I'm like, I go to like try and activate its effect, I think, and I even like move it. I'm pretty sure I move it to my banish zone, not even realizing that. Wait, I'm literally under Lancea. Yeah, so that was just really dumb on my part. Again, like it's these kind of things where I just don't play this deck often enough to where I don't like consider the ramifications of Lancea like fully. We are able to recover from this though. Like I think he offered to let me take it back, but I'm like, nah, that's just a misplay. I deserve that. So we drew into an unauthorized reactivation this turn, which is actually going to ultimately save this hand. And I'm like trying to think of the line to end on Appaloosa, because that's the main goal. Because if I can get to Appaloosa, I can stop not only the DD Crow, but I can also stop just like whatever Tri-Brigade, which is going to be Kip. And so that is my game plan right now. So I'm like trying to account for the pieces in my hand and like what I can get access to, and like how far I can get with this. So yeah, I go ahead and activate unauthorized reactivation. This is obviously lets me equip from the deck. You can't special it, similar to how Union Hangar's restriction. But yeah, like that's what makes Union Driver so good, is that you can just special whatever. So yeah, I go ahead and I go into the battle phase. I don't think I updated the light points, but yeah, I go into battle phase, I attack, and then I make Claire and Reshka. And I trigger the C and the B. I have another legal target for the C here. So yeah, you can see I just did the other C just to show that I had the other target. And then I link the Clara and the C into a Nightmare Cerberus, just because like I don't really plan on using it. And then I use C to summon C, and then I go into Unicorn. I C summon B, and then I make Appaloosa, and then I trigger the B. And I can't Celestial. Otherwise, I would consider just not searching off the B. But yeah, this is pretty good because now I can answer the DD Crow, and that is pretty solid. So I think if a DD Crowed in response to the Lancia, it probably would have been pretty good. But yeah, now I am sitting in a pretty good spot. He's, I think, still going to just force an Appaloosa negation just because he can. And then my DPE comes back. So now I have like 2 answers for like his Tri-Brigade stuff. And it's going to be tough for him to, come back from this. So yeah, I normal summon the kit or he normal summons the kit rather. And then I'm just thinking on if I want to even do anything about this. And he has a lot of Tri-Brigade names in the graveyard because he's used Revolt. But he's going to link into the Almirage to play around the Enforcer a little bit. And so here I just choose to let his Nerval resolve because he already normal summoned. So I'm just going to negate his Karis. I think if he activated... Yeah, the last card to say was Dasher. I think if he activated Kit on field, then I maybe would have like been in a bit of a trickier spot. I probably should have just activated DPE to pop the Kit. Because if he activated Kit on field and then did that play anyways, then I might have been in trouble because he would have had potentially a second try name. Although again, I would just still negate the Karis in hand and it would be the same outcome. So yeah, it didn't really matter too much. But yeah, that's going to be it for this first commentary of remote duels. This was, again, quite a lot of fun to do. So I plan on doing this more in the future. Now, let me know in the comments if you have any feedback or suggestions or on any decks that you want me to play. Maybe I'll play like in remote duel locals for like just random decks like this. So yeah, let me know, but that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.